One young driver walked into Atlanta and left almost everyone around him with a headache. And somehow, he still finished fourth. That is the Carson Hocevar story, and right now it is the biggest story in NASCAR. Last Sunday at Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta, the Autotrader Echo Park Automotive 400 had everything. Big crashes, overtime restarts, and one 23-year-old driver who simply refused to stay out of trouble. His name is Carson Hocevar. He drives the number 77 Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports, and people around the NASCAR garage are starting to have some very strong feelings about him. Now, before we get into all the drama, let's talk about what kind of day Hocevar was having before things got really messy. His race started terribly. On lap 31, he got a flat tire and scraped the wall. That put him a full lap behind the leaders. Then, not long after, his right side window blew out and he fell another lap down. At that point, most drivers would be quietly finishing the race and heading home, not Hocevar. He used 2 free passes to get back on the lead lap, earned stage points, and fought his way all the way back into contention for the win. That right there tells you everything you need to know about this guy. He does not give up. But here is where things got complicated. With about 22 laps to go, Hocevar made contact with Joey Logano and spun him out. After the race, he did not try to hide from it. He looked straight at the cameras and said, "I turned Joey. I didn't mean to do that." He got stuck in dirty air. It's my racing excuses, like it wasn't my fault, but it definitely was. I was just looking in the mirror the whole time and thought I calculated my gap out front. I just missed it by an inch or two, and I owe him a gift card. A gift card. Only Carson Hocevar. Now, Logano going around set up one of the wildest late race sequences we have seen in a while. Hocevar pitted for 4 fresh tires, which gave his car much better handling, and he came roaring back toward the front just in time for the overtime restarts. This is where it really gets intense. And what made it even more fascinating was what was happening on Hocevar's radio. Before the restarts, he was already thinking 3 moves ahead. He got on the radio and told his team exactly what the plan was. Get with Bubba, shake and bake, let him know it'll come down to me and him if it works. He was calling his shot out loud, referencing the famous Talladega Nights move, and he meant every word of it. Then, when that first plan needed a backup, he was right back on the radio with another one. He told his team, "Otherwise, I will take the front row and go to Ross and say shake and bake, because look behind him. It's Daniel. He's not going to leave him, so he's got to stick with me." The team responded with a simple, "Copy that," and just like that, the plan was locked in. This is what separates Hocevar from most drivers his age. He is not just reacting out there. He is thinking, planning, and communicating in real time while going nearly 200 miles per hour. The shake and bake call on the radio was not just funny, it actually worked as a strategy. He got Ross Chastain behind him, used that push to his advantage, and surged toward the front. On the first overtime restart, Hocevar was lined up in row 2 on the outside. Christopher Bell was right in front of him and Bubba Wallace was on the inside. Hocevar tried to shoot the middle between Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell, but the gap he attempted to go for was not quite 1 car wide, which resulted in contact and Bell shooting up into the outside wall. The crowd went crazy. Cars went everywhere, and Carson Hocevar, he kept going. Now, Bell was pretty quiet after the race. He said he did not even watch the replay yet, but his Joe Gibbs racing teammate Denny Hamlin was not quiet at all. On his Monday podcast, Actions Detrimental, Hamlin had plenty to say. "Well, there's a difference, and certainly I feel like there are better decisions that could be made, but we're talking about the same thing we've been talking about for a year and a half. I almost hate that we're bringing more attention to it because I think he likes that," Hamlin said. And then he added the kind of warning that gets people's attention. "As a competitor, it's going to come back around." That is not a small thing to say. When Denny Hamlin tells you it is going to come back around, drivers across the garage take notice. Hocevar explained his thinking after the race. He said he saw what he thought was a gap and he went for it. "I felt like the Toyotas were going to maintain lanes, and I felt like if they got lazy and left the middle open, I would be really aggressive and try to fill it. I saw it for a split second right when I got a huge run, and it looked like there was just enough when I was coming. I just went for it. It was in my mind, and by the time I got there, or by the time he realized it, I don't even need to see it. I'm sure it was closed up." So he knew the gap was closing. He went anyway. That is the whole Hurricane Hocevar thing in one sentence. After the Bell contact, Hocevar got a cleaner second restart with Chastain pushing him from behind, exactly like he called on the radio. He surged to the front, went side by side with Tyler Reddick for the lead, and looked like he might actually win the whole thing. But then Chase Briscoe pushed Reddick to the front, and Hocevar slipped back to fourth at the line. Fourth place. After all of that, after a flat tire, a blown window, 2 laps down, spinning Logano, wrecking Bell, calling shake-and-bake plays on the radio, and going side by side for the lead, he still finished fourth. After the race, Hocevar admitted he probably owed a few people apologies. "I'm sure I owe people apologies, but I think we're all battling for spaces and runs," he said. That is a very Carson Hocevar way of looking at it. Now, not everyone is angry at him. Ryan Blaney, one of the more respected voices in the garage, went on his podcast, Door Bumper Clear, and gave a very fair take. He is clearly a fan of what Hocevar can do, but he also wants to see him clean things up. With Carson, he's really talented. I think he's one of the best prospects young drivers in the sport. He makes some mistakes, but he's going for it all the time, Blaney said. But he was also honest about the Bell incident. Throws it in there under the 20 on the restart when there wasn't any hole there. It was an aggressive move, but there was no space to go, and then it hurts him as far as that goes. Blaney's point is simple. Being aggressive is great. Being aggressive when there is no room is what causes wrecks and makes enemies. Even Hocevar himself described the racing at Atlanta in a way that tells you exactly how his brain works. "I felt like the truck race didn't hurt, especially with no practice. You have to race with aggression and confidence. It's like a video game, and I play a lot of those. Confidence is really big here, and it worked out today. A video game and shake and bake."